Hi guys, it's Chris here from Some Bloke Who Travels a Lot, and today I am flying on British Airways smallest jet, the Dornier 328 from Manchester to Billund. Now technically it's not British Airways. The Dornier is operated under franchise from British Airways by Sun Air Scandinavia on a very limited number of routes. Now, if you want to see the hoops I had to jump through to book this flight at a price I could afford, check out part 1 of this video. Links in the description and at the end of the video. As I said, technically it's not British Airways, but as you will see, it's British Airways livery, it's British Airways crew, and it's mostly British Airways service. Well, adapted to a 32-seat aircraft. I arrived at Manchester Airport bright and early for the 8 AM departure. Actually, I'd stayed the night before at the Ibis budget at Manchester Airport. There's a video review of that on the channel and a link at the end of this video and of course in the description. Now, the first difference on this flight was at the gate. Anyone who had a carry-on case was introduced to the valet service. As due to size, you can't take a carry-on case on board. They have to go in the hold. However, there's no need to wait to collect the baggage at the baggage carousel at the end of the flight, as your case is waiting for you on parade as you depart the aircraft. Then, of course, the most noticeable difference is down to size. It really does matter. There is no air bridge, and in fact, no steps, just the aircraft's inbuilt door steps. Inside, well, as I said, there are only 32 seats. It's in a 1x2 configuration, and it's as snug as it looks. I booked a single seat, but in hindsight, the duo seats look much more spacious. However, I wasn't uncomfortable. Plenty of space for the short flight of an hour and 20 minutes to Billund. Now, normally I always book a window seat. Who doesn't? But it was foremost in my mind on this flight, as this was my first flight ever where you sit below, well, on the same level as the engine. So, if your tray table is secure, you've read the safety card and fastened your 3-point seatbelt, then I will show you this quite unique takeoff from Manchester. Then afterwards, I'll show you the food service, a little more of the cabin, and finally, our arrival in Billund. It's a snug fit in here.
Would you like any drinks?
Can I get an orange juice, please?
Yes, sure. You can say what would you like
It's 8 AM, so I opted for an orange juice to accompany my breakfast. Now, I imagine a few gin and tonics get served on the later flights. How civilised. And breakfast, well, it was all there. A melange of styles, eggs, croissants, meats, cheese, yoghurts, and of course a cup of tea, which I'm sorry to say was the worst cup of tea I've ever had with British Airways. That obviously wasn't included with the franchise. Now, at the time of booking, Sun Air advertised this route as first class for everyone. That is no longer on the site, and it certainly isn't British Airways first class. I was lucky enough to fly that on the A380 back from Singapore, and it really is something quite special. And it isn't really Club Europe. Well, I guess it is, just a little bit smaller and a little bit different. As you'll see in next week's video, as I flew back Club Europe on the A320 to Heathrow after an hour or two in Billund's lounge. Now, arrival. That again was a little bit different. The cases were at attention waiting to be collected as we left the aircraft. But at immigration, the question seemed to be, which company do you work for? I guess this route is mainly for those in the gas oil industry. I don't know. If anyone does, please let me know in the comments. At my turn, I was again asked which company. I said none. She then said, what is the purpose of the visit? All very pleasant and friendly. I replied, I just want to fly on the plane. She looked at me very confused. Then asked again. I again sort of sheepishly said, I just wanted to fly on the plane. She looked at me, smiled and said, coming to see the Lego house, stamped my passport and welcomed me to Denmark. Now, is this the best way to get to Denmark? Probably not. I think you'd be more comfortable on the bigger Airbus, which does serve London to Billund, and it's certainly a lot cheaper. However, the unique experience and view certainly made it a flight that I was very glad I'd taken. And the confusion on immigration's face was kind of just the icing on the cake. So, thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like this sort of thing, you might like to consider subscribing. Flight reports, hotel reviews, and me exploring all over the world. Anyway, happy travels, and I'll see you next week, C2F, on the British Airways flight from Billund to Heathrow.